Breaking news today as Mike Norvell and Florida State have extended his contract through 2029. And now Coach Norvell is the highest paid coach in the state of Florida. Not only is he the highest paid coach in the state of Florida, he's the second highest paid coach in the ACC behind only Dabo Swinney. The Seminoles announced the contract today and released the numbers and details, which are absolutely great for not only FSU, but for Coach Norvell. FSU will pay Mike an average of $8.05 million a year. Billy Napier currently makes $7 million a year at UF, and Mario Cristobal makes just short of Norvell at exactly $8 million a year. A report from the Orlando Sentinel came out last week, and it talked about how Florida State had a surplus of over $10 million in their 2022 fiscal year. A lot of that has come from an increase in booster memberships and ticket sales since FSU's now AD, then booster president, had taken over, Mr. Michael Alford. We spoke about this on the show on Sunday, but we'll reiterate the great work that AD Alford has done, and it's certainly led to this. That doesn't even include the revenue that has come from Florida State playing 3 sellout games this year, BC, Clemson, and UF. I think that you'll see that surplus from 2022 increase even more when we get to the numbers later on this year. I've been told that FSU, though, has been working on this for quite a while. This isn't because there was a surplus. They all of a sudden said, hey, we can give you more money. Florida State's fully bought in with what Mike Norvell is doing. And Michael Alford loves Mike Norvell, and that is his guy. I believe that even through the tough times, Alford and the administration knew that what Norvell was selling and what we were building toward was going to be leading Florida State down the right track. And so the surplus, I would assume, will also be able to help out with more off-the-field hires, a larger budget for on-field staff, and what Florida State's able to do with that. But I think this extension for Norvell is something that has been in the works for a while. You don't win 10 games and beat one of your rivals soundly to sleep and then embarrass the other rival at home as well by putting 40 points on them without getting an extension and a raise. Well deserved for Mike Norvell. Let's talk about this from a big picture perspective, but just before we do that, I want to tell you guys about our new channel. We launched a brand new channel, which I'll link right here above me. It'll be down in the description as well, but we really built this channel on covering all FSU sports. And football has certainly taken over the last several months, and we haven't had the opportunity to do that as much. We started that second channel, which again, you can find linked here. You can search for it, DFNS FSU Sports. We're going to have a lot more content covering all of FSU sports there. Right now, there's a show that Michaela Edenfield, FSU star softball athlete, is doing called The Throwdown. We've also got a baseball show coming for you starting next week. Keep an eye and ear out for that. We'll cover basketball, soccer, baseball, softball, all of FSU sports over there. Subscribe if you'd like to support us. We would certainly enjoy and appreciate if you're subscribed here. Go subscribe there as well, as we will appreciate growing that channel with you also. Appreciate you guys for your support. If you're watching this, make sure you're subscribed to this channel as well. Back to Norvell. I think the thing that stands out the most about this extension and about what we're talking about today is that Norvell absolutely bet on himself. Mike's salary before this extension and before his raise was under $4.5 million. He almost doubled it with this extension alone. And here's what Mike bet on. He knew what was coming during that 3-win season during 2020, the COVID year. He knew what was coming when Florida State started out 0-4 to start the 2021 season. He knew what was coming after Florida State finished last year at 5-7. He knew what was on its way when Florida State fans called for his head after the Travis Hunter flip. Mike Norvell was very aware of the situation and very aware of what this thing was building toward, and we all got to see it this season. But he also knew what was coming this year when Florida State started out the month of October and finished the month of October with those 3 straight losses. He knew the run the Noles would go on later, and he knew that he was still building toward where we all wanted to get. A 10-win season, beating both rivals, and a big bowl victory. It's interesting to see those fans who were calling for Mike's head at the end of 2020 and 2021 all sing a different song now. They went back on the bandwagon, which is fine, but it's also hilarious to watch. Part of this fan base will never be happy with anything, and so that's fine, but it is funny to watch them turn and now celebrate the success that Mike has given this program and the rewards that Mike is reaping from it. Mike Norvell has done several things and done several things well in Tallahassee. The first, and what I believe Alford and the administration appreciate the most, is turn around the culture of this team. You weren't going to see results on the field turn around until you saw the culture turn around. And Mike has done that maybe better than any coach I've seen in a long time at any program. There aren't many programs that probably had the issues and the toxicity that this program had over the last 5 or 6 years before Norvell had gotten it cleaned up. And for Florida State to be able to turn around in that quick of a time, really just 2.5 years, is mightily impressive. When you throw the COVID year in there as well, it's probably a shock that Florida State was able to get it turned around that quickly. But we've talked about that culture. We've talked about how Mike built this. I hate to make this comparison, and I don't mean any disrespect to the absolute legend, the absolute goat of all goats, but he built this thing like Coach Bowden did. And I think that that is what is most impressive. It's not football first. It's culture. It's faith and family, and then football. And culture has been massive for Coach Mike Norvell, and then he went out and put in the work. And that's been evident. He's done a great job of getting guys in here through either the portal or the recruiting class, and he's done wonders to improve the roster and develop the roster. We're going to talk a little bit about that development and the returning production in a video later this week. But what he's done, not only from a culture perspective, but a talent perspective as well, is nothing short of phenomenal. And that's why he earned this extension and raise, and why FSU's administration and their athletic department has his back 100%. It's starting to take effect in recruiting, and you're going to see Florida State excel there too. Florida State is going to finish with a top 10 class in 2024, and they already are doing that. They already have a top 5 class. Got multiple high-level guys committed, already have a 5-star in Cam Davis, and they're knocking on the door of 1 or 2 more that we'll keep you updated on and we'll tell you about when they happen. There's certainly a certainty around the program right now, and there's a confidence in not only the direction that this thing is headed, but also the leadership that's steering it right now. No more will other coaches be able to negatively recruit the longevity of the staff in Tallahassee. No more will Mike struggle to make hires due to the uncertainty around the program. Mike Norvell deserved this fully. Want to know what you guys deserve? 15% off of your orders over at Garnet and Gold. We appreciate them for their support as well. Make sure that garnetandgold.com is the only place that you're shopping for licensed FSU apparel, merchandise, gear, and NIL swag. Again, garnetandgold.com. Use NOSLAW, that's NOSLAW, for 15% off all of your FSU licensed apparel. Mike Norvell has this thing headed in that great direction, and we've got more good news coming soon. So make sure that you're subscribed here to the channel. And if you want to see the opposite of a good program, here's a video we made earlier in the week about an absolute dumpster fire, and we call that program Miami. Click it here to see more.